Hello everybody, welcome back to the Nocturnal Gaming Network. My name is Xeriua, and today we are playing Spaceflight Simulator. And, the last time we were together we did some more station work, and the space station is definitely coming along here. Like, we got all sorts of stuff going on here. Let me turn my RCS thrusters off for a second. We have a whole, docking area here with all sorts of different ports ready for anything. We have the main storage, we have the solar arms, giant fly swatter solar panels to keep everything powered. We've got our command module, and the last time we started by putting on some, well, first off, the little habitation modules here, and then another not docking node, but four corner node, and then we've got the big hallways, and then we have like this, which is going to be like the food and recreation and just, general habitable area. But doing all of this made me think, one major thing. We don't really have any sort of tug module here, and I feel like having some sort of tug module around the station would be useful, right? Like, we could do all sorts of stuff so much easier if we had just a little tug module. So that's what we're going to do today. We're actually going to make ourselves a tug module, and we're going to start right at the beginning of the screen, as always, and just lay out our fairing. We're going to skip right up to the large fairing, and I think we want to go to the, full-sized fairing in this one. And, yeah, how do we want to do this? This is where the fun begins, because I'm not really sure what we want for a tug. I know we want something small, like it's got to be small, and it's got to be maneuverable, and it's got to be, powerful enough to move things around. So we are going to grab a couple docking ports. We need some RCS thrusters too. Let's go for 4 of them. And how about fuel? We're going to get a couple tanks. Actually, this is a tug. It should be like high vis so nobody accidentally bumps into it, right? So let's make the tug fuel tanks orange here. What else do we need here? How about some electric thrusters? That way it's efficient. Let's put 4 of these bad boys on here, and then we're going to need a couple of batteries here, so we can actually go through and keep the tug module charged, keep it running properly, that sort of thing. So we're going to put our first docking port right there. And this fairing is really getting in the way. Come on, fairing, don't do this. Next, we're going to put that. There's our command module here. You know what we should do? We should also put some RTGs on this thing. Just because this is going to be a tug. We don't want it solely running off battery power here, right? We wouldn't want it to run out of fuel halfway through, a mission or something. Some sort of tug mission. So what we're going to do is we're going to put RTGs, we're going to put the batteries, and something like that, I think. That looks nice. And then we can also, there we go, just like this. That way we've got our electrical engines here, but at the same time, we're also able to use the RCS thrusters here if we need to. And then we've still managed to keep our fuel tanks like up above, not fuel tanks, our docking ports up above the actual, surface where the thrusters are. So we actually don't need that. So in this case, what we should do is we should just move our fairing down a little bit. We don't even need this one, do we? I sort of went overboard on the fairing with this one. Something like this. Yeah, that's what we want to do. And now let's finish with the fairing here. How about that? Now we're going to create a module here that's going to actually get this thing out into space. Something like this. We can take and go back to aerodynamic and begin to thin our fairing down. Boom. Oh no. We will move this stuff up one square. There we are. And that way I can put that just like that. Now, this thing only weighs 49 tons. And most of that's going to be this second stage here. So we don't need too much to get it in space. We're going to use this right here as our main propulsion into space. However, we're actually going to add a couple of tiny little boosters on this thing, just because what we want is to be able to, get this thing up into the air before we start firing that main booster on the bottom. Because if we don't have these little side boosters, I don't think we're actually going to make it into orbit. So here's the rocket. I mean, it's a nice, simple little rocket here this time. Nothing super special. We want to get ourselves a thumbnail photo. Just like, come on, zoom out just a little tiny bit. Just like that. Now I've got a thumbnail photo. Now, we are going to launch these engines. Just those for right now. And we're going to go straight up, something like this. And we're going to use these engines here to just get ourselves off the ground so we're out of the thick atmospheric air. Maybe we should start turning just a little bit, something like this. Boom. And now we're at the second stage, our primary lift stage, and we're going to keep rolling ourselves over. We have plenty of thrust on this one, so we can start rolling like actually pretty drastically now to try and even ourselves out. There we go. Something like this. And this stage is going to get us into space, and it's going to start the circularization process. It's probably not going to be able to finish circularization in this case. But it's definitely a good start. That's why we grabbed that secondary module there, the third stage. Well, second stage, I guess. Because those boosters weren't really like a full stage themselves. So we are coming up on, our apoaps reaching out into space. We've still got plenty of thrust going here, so we don't have any issues. Like, everything's going cool. We are almost out of fuel, so we're going to have to stage really soon, but that's okay. Bam. Start by popping our fairing, separating, lighting our second stage, and then we're going to turn in here. And we're going to want to push our apoaps ahead of us here. We're going to want to get some sideways momentum going so we can actually circularize, and then once we ride up on the apoaps, we're going to turn back radial out and just push the apoaps ahead of us. But we have a little bit to go before that, so we should be fine. Like, we shouldn't have any issues here. We may end up passing the apoaps on this one just a little bit, but if we do, we should have enough thrust that it's no big deal. Alright, so now we're going to want to start radial out, start rotating radial out just a little bit. We don't want to go too much. Like, we don't ever want to go too much, because if we go too much, we're not putting the fuel into the sideways, rotation of the craft, and we're not actually going to be gaining speed very fast. We're just going to be, lifting ourselves perpendicularly to the planet. And we don't want to do that. We want to actually gain some sideways momentum relative to the planet so that we can, make a nice circular orbit. Oop. Ooh, no, that's not what I want. There we go. We have basically made orbit. Here we are, low Earth orbit. We're going to set the station as our target, and we are going to burn ourselves up to the station's height, up to the 250 apoaps. It's right about... Ooh, look at that. That's actually a really close intercept right there. Not quite perfect. Maybe we could go through and do something to make it perfect, but, I don't really think so. Let's not worry about that right now. What we're going to do is we're actually going to use our RCS just a bit because we've gone over. There we go. Now we're at perfectly 250 kilometers. We can just transfer the tiny bit of fuel into both of those tanks that we used. Now, turn RCS thrusters off because we don't need them again yet. What we're going to do is we need to separate this oh, no. Why was my engine still on? What am I doing here? I have no idea what I'm doing. Alright, 250. Try that again. Fill these tanks back up. Get rid of that. Okay. Engines. RCS thrusters off. Preemptively rotate ourselves around, making sure our thrusters are off this time. They are, so we can go to the apoaps, and we are going to basically raise our periaps a little tiny bit here. Something like, just like this, probably. That's probably pretty good. We want to make sure that we have enough fuel left over in this module that we can separate it, and we actually do remain in control of it this time, which is good. We'll flip around retrograde, and we will burn to create an intersect with the planet. And I'm just going to use the rest of the fuel because I can. There we go. We can switch back to this one. And now we are going to turn our engines on, and we're going to continue with the burn. So what we're doing is we are very gently and slowly raising our periaps. And we probably want to stop about here so we can go around the planet and just get ourselves a little bit closer to our target. So like 2 times around is probably good. Yeah, that's pretty close. Look at this. We actually have a really nice close encounter with this. How close is that actually? It's 15.3 kilometers, so I mean it's not super close, but it is fairly close. So we can raise our apoaps now. Raise our periaps now. And then we can go around a couple more times. So periaps right there. We'll go around like 3 more times, maybe 2 more times. So here's 1. Looks like 3 is going to be good. 2 and 3. Actually, we have a nice close encounter again. Let's see if we can do 4. I'm going to try for 4. That's probably going to be... Ooh, look how close that is now. Alright, where is that thing relative to us? It's not close enough that we can just... I was hoping it would be like dead on and we could just eyeball this and go for it, but no, not quite. Where did the encounter go? The encounter just disappeared. It was right in here somewhere. I feel like that's going to be really, really close for an encounter. Anyway, I'm just going to raise the periaps here. And if we turn radial in and out, we can adjust it. So 49.3 by 50.7. So that's going to be very close. We're going to go to our periaps. We're going to rotate ourselves retrograde and just lower our apoaps back down to, you know, underneath the orbit of the station, so we actually catch up to it. Alright, and here we go. We're just going to go around a few times, and we will gradually catch up a little tiny bit each time. We're actually doing pretty good now. We can probably see it. Yeah, look at this. Let's make sure we're not going to smack into it. Where's the station? There's the station. Here we are. Let's get our RCS thrusters on and begin to actually dock with this thing. So it's going to go around us one more time, isn't it? Yeah, look at this. Look at this. This thing is so close to us. Okay, it's past us now. And the reason you know that is because it's now heading away when it was heading towards us. So we're going to use our RCS thrusters down and to the left, and that will allow us to dock with this thing. So we're also going to come over here, and I'm using the lightning bolts on the module to know which way's up. And there we go. Now we can just accelerate time. We're heading right towards it. Cut our sideways momentum a little. And here we are. Rotate. Now remember, you are moving fast here. Don't smash into things, but if we want to be really technical about it, this module is very small and very light, so these RCS thrusters are actually going to change its speed and direction and whatnot fairly quickly, so you don't have to worry too much about that. So here we are. Bam, we have docked our little tug with the station. Bam, 2% fuel, back into it. And that's going to be it for now. The next time we're together, or maybe not the next time we're together, but the next time we go through and we actually do a mission with the station, I can guarantee that you're going to see this little tug in action. So thank you all so much for watching. My name's Xeriua, and this is the Nocturnal Gaming Network bringing you Spaceflight Simulator. Have yourselves a wonderful night, everybody.